Welcome. In this lecture, you'll dive into the core concept of Azure App Service Plans, a critical building block for hosting and scaling web applications on Azure. If you're planning to run websites, APIs, or backend services in the cloud, this is something you must understand. When you deploy a web application in Azure App Service, you're not just deploying code, you're also defining where and how it runs. That's exactly what an app service plan does. Think of an app service plan like a virtual server farm. It bundles up the compute resources, CPU, memory, and storage needed to run your applications. You create the plan once and can host multiple applications within it, as long as you stay within the resource limits. When you're setting up an app service plan, you'll define the core infrastructure that your web apps will run on. First, you will choose the operating system, either Windows or Linux, based on what your application stack requires. Then, you will select a region, such as West US, Central India, or North Europe, which determines the physical location where your compute resources will reside. Next, you will pick a pricing tier that aligns with your needs and budget. This tier influences not just cost, but also which features you get, like auto-scaling, deployment slots, or custom domain support. Finally, you will configure the VM size and count, choosing how powerful the virtual machines should be based on CPU, memory, and storage, and how many instances you want to run, typically between 3 and 30. Once your app service plan is in place, every app you deploy to it will share these resources. The platform gives you flexibility and scalability, but it's up to you to plan wisely to avoid resource constraints as your app footprint grows. As you plan your deployment strategy with Azure App Service Plans, there are a few key things you should keep in mind to ensure your apps perform reliably and cost effectively. Start with cost optimization. You're charged based on the compute capacity allocated to your app service plan, not by the number of apps you host. That means you can save significantly by running multiple lightweight apps on the same plan, as long as they fit within the available resources. Next, think about multi-app hosting. It's efficient and convenient to host several applications under one plan, especially when they share similar resource needs. However, be mindful that all those apps draw from the same pool of CPU, memory, and disk. If one app starts consuming more than its share, it can slow down or impact the others. That brings you to capacity planning. Before adding another application to the plan, ask yourself, how much compute does the new app require? Is your current setup capable of handling the additional load? If you stretch your resources too thin, you risk performance issues or even downtime across all apps in the plan. Finally, consider application isolation. Sometimes it's smarter to separate apps into their own dedicated plans. Do this if the app is resource intensive, needs to scale independently, or must run in a different Azure region. Isolating such apps gives you better control, performance, and security without putting your other workloads at risk. With these considerations in mind, you'll be better equipped to design a scalable, resilient, and cost-effective app hosting environment. So, what's your key takeaways? When working with Azure App Service Plans, your success depends on how well you balance cost, performance, and scalability. You should thoughtfully configure the plan's operating system, region, pricing tier, and VM capacity to match your app's needs. By optimizing cost through multi-app hosting, carefully planning capacity, and isolating high-demand applications, you can build a flexible, reliable environment that supports growth without sacrificing performance. Always plan ahead. Your future apps will thank you.